friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to veer off a little bit from my cleaning and momming and talk about one of my biggest passions, which is teaching. So as you all know, I'm a teacher, and right now I have been dealing with home on top of doing distant learning with my students. And so one of the biggest things that I have found and just been looking at around online when people having conversations on Facebook is that people are looking for resources to use right now. And so I have a few websites that I have been using for years now that I think will be great additions to your pantry. It's not your pantry, but will be great additions to use in your classroom and use right now as just backups to help you as you are going through this distant learning thing. Some of these you might have heard of, some of these you might have never heard of, and that's okay. And so we're going to take a look at the top 5 that I use that I think would be beneficial to you in the classroom in August and also outside of the classroom right now or next year for homework or extra practice. So the first website I want to talk to y'all about is called Newsela. Newsela is a website for students that gives you a ton of information and a ton of news articles about recent activities in the news. So one of the biggest things I think that Newsela does is it brings the real world into the classroom, and it helps students to apply those real world issues and problems to the things going on every day in the classroom. Sometimes there's a disconnect between real world in the classroom, and students wonder, how am I going to use this in real life? And this can help to see how real world and classroom can be connected together. Also, Newsela can be used as cross-curricular because you can also incorporate social studies and science into these activities. There are even a couple of math articles that you could actually use in order to do that cross-curricular teaching. Newsela is great because it's going to give you a huge bank of articles to look at for students. So all of their articles are used according to lexile level. And so if you have students that are on like a 3rd grade reading level, or you have students that are on a 7th and 8th grade reading level, you can tailor make their articles. And so Newsela also offers you to give them questions and writing prompts after they've read the articles. One of the best things about most of the websites I'm going to tell you about today is they offer you the opportunity to give questions and short responses. Students sometimes forget about those short responses because they don't want to write, and so this is a great exercise to help them to continue to write after they've read an article. Newsela also can help you with those struggling readers. So suppose you're using it in your 6th grade classroom and you have a group of students maybe that are on a 3rd or 4th grade reading level. You can tailor make their articles for them. No one else has to know. They're all reading the same article, and the students can be able to do what they need to do and not feel ashamed or feel like, you know, somebody's watching what they're doing, because everybody has the same article. It's just on a different reading level. So Newsela can also be helpful for the teacher because it gives you data. Yes, it gives you that data that you need so desperately so that you don't have to grade papers by hand, because that takes up a lot of our time if we have to do that. So take the data that it gives you. So what happens is Newsela will compile almost like a chart. So the student has finished this article, it took them this long to read it, they use this lexile level, and it also will show, did they annotate? That's another great part about Newsela. It offers annotation, and that's a huge thing that students have to work on, especially from about 3rd grade on, if not 2nd grade. They gotta annotate the text. They gotta stop and think about what they've read and take notes on those things. So Newsela is going to track their annotation. It's going to track how they read it, how long it took them to read, which I think is a huge bonus. Newsela is definitely a great site to incorporate into your classroom. Again, I think it's best for older students, probably about 5th grade and up would do great job. Next resource, iExcel. iExcel is a great resource because it's a great practice. Basically, I personally use Newsela to practice grammar. So grammar is one of those huge things that sometimes gets left behind, especially in lower elementary classes. And so I taught 4th and 5th grade, and so grammar was always a tough thing for me to get in. With me getting in assessments and all the reading skills, it was hard to get that grammar. But I would use iExcel to get the grammar in daily because I would give them about 15-20 minutes to practice, assign them a skill. The kids would work on it. They earn badges, they earn points. They absolutely love it. iExcel is tailor-made for pre-K, actually pre-K, all the way till 12th grade. So they can do reading activities, they can do math, they can do science, they can do social studies. So it's not just grammar, it's everything. iExcel is also great because it allows students, if someone is like, again, you got a baby in 3rd grade, but they're way up there on the 5th or 6th grade level, you can assign them 5th and 6th grade level activities. Will the other students know? No, because again, they're putting in the same type of digits and numbers and looking for the same thing, so they won't ever know. So again, these are great resources because one, they can practice them in class, they can also practice them at home, and it also gives them an opportunity to work in small groups and work by themselves independently. Next one, Quizii. I love Quizii because Quizii puts these students in competition mode. They're like, hey, I want to beat you. I want to beat you. So what Quizii is a gamified check for understanding that I say, or it could be a exit ticket. So that's what I look at Quizii is. So when you click on Quizii, you're going to decide what type of lesson you want to teach. So for example, if I want to have my students do an exit ticket on theme, let me see, did they understand the lesson that I taught today on theme? So students will go in, I'll assign a code, it'll be put up on the board, the students will put the code in. Once everybody is in, it says, hey, start your game. It counts down from 5, and students are sitting there and they're ready to go, which I absolutely love to see because they are fully engaged. Because once it starts, you see a scoreboard, and the scoreboard is sitting right there in the front for them to see. They see who's in 1st place, 2nd place, 3rd place, who's at the bottom. When every time they answer the question, it tells them what place they're in. And it's so awesome to hear the kids yelling out, and they're like, oh man, I dropped. I was in 1st place. They pushed me out. And they're constantly trying to get back into that 1st place. Quizii is great for exit tickets, check for understanding. You could even use it as a test if you want to. They have 3 different ways to use it. You can use it in small groups where a group of kids do it together. You can use it by themselves, or you can use it in test mode. All of them are absolutely great. Homework also is available on Quizii. You can assign a homework assignment and students can take the full week to complete it, turn it into you, and they get a Quizii grade. This also collects data, which again is the best thing ever because you're not having to grade the papers. You get straight data sent to you. It's real-time data. You get to see what they missed, what questions they missed, what percentage of the class missed it, and if standards are applied to it, it will tell you what standards they missed and which standards they did. You also have the capability of creating your own tests in Quizii so that students you can track specifically what you want to see them achieve. So Quizii is a great one. It's a game. Students love games. They love it. They're engaged, and it's great to incorporate on observations because admin loves to see this engagement. Next one I want to talk to you about is CommonLit. I absolutely love CommonLit because CommonLit has been with me probably since I started teaching. It is one of those websites that's very similar to ReadWorks, but I like CommonLit a little bit better because CommonLit really does some rigorous questions. It really gets students to thinking. So when you go to CommonLit, you can look up different types of standards. You can look up text by standards. You can look it up by theme. You can look it up by, I forgot what the other one was. It's theme, it's standard, and I think you can look it up by books. And so you can look up and see which one you want to use in order to find the materials you need. I usually pick standards because I'm teaching ELA. So I'll put in a standard, I find all the text that go with it, I click on the text. Before your students even get started reading the text, they can do guided reading. I enable this all the time because, once again, students do not take the time to read before they go and answer the question. This makes them read. So what will happen is when you put that in and enable it, students will read one part of the passage. The rest of it will be blurred out. They'll have to answer questions on that one section, and then they can move on to the next section. Absolutely great. You can see those scores also in the data area, where it will let you see what these students scored on these guided reading parts. After they finish with guided reading, they move on to the assessment questions. They're usually about 4 questions. Then they go to a discussion question where they have to do a short answer. It also has an annotation tool, just like the Newsela. CommonLit is absolutely great for practicing, especially when you think about testing questions. They are on the ball with it. They have A/B questions, which students absolutely struggle with, and it helps them to figure out how to answer these questions. Great tools in here. It has a translation tool. It has a read aloud tool. You can enable the read aloud where only certain students get it. It's just absolutely awesome. It also tracks what the students does, and it gives you data. You're also allowed to reassign. So if someone scores a 50 and you know they could do better, you can reassign it, have them go back and do it again, and then you can take the better score. This has the perfect paired text to go with the assignments. It also has book related text. So let's say you're reading the book, The Watsons Go to Birmingham, which is what I love to have students read at the end of 4th grade. You're reading that book, and students can go into CommonLit and take questions and answers and discussions that go with The Watsons Go to Birmingham. They have a ton of other books. It's great for upper grades. It's great to do independently. You can put this into a small group along with IXL and Newsela, and students will just absolutely be focused on what they're doing, get their assignment done, and turned into you. It's a great resource to have. The last resource I want to mention is EdgeElastic. EdgeElastic is my love. The reason EdgeElastic is my love is because EdgeElastic makes my life easier. As a teacher, I have used EdgeElastic probably about 6 years, and it absolutely has worked so well. The reason EdgeElastic is so great is because it puts all of your assessments into one place. So basically, after students have done IXL practice, they've done Newsela, they've done CommonLit, they've done Quizii. At the end of all that, and I finished my unit, I can put into EdgeElastic, or I can find an assessment in EdgeElastic already done, already made up for me, or I can create my own. They go in EdgeElastic, complete their assessment. I can in real time see their grade, see how they did. I can go in and grade written responses if I want to do that. This website has it all. When it's time to get ready for testing, come back in January, it has a ton of practice tests on there for you to do for ELA, math, science, social studies, whatever subject you're teaching, it has assessments on there. You can go on there, assign the assessments to students, see how they score on it, and use them to review and to go over to prepare for testing. EdgeElastic is great. It gives the teacher a break from grading with pen and paper, and move to collecting the data. You can go through your reports. You can do it by standard. You can do it by class. You can do it by students. You can see who's at the highest, went to the lowest. You can track how students do the entire year. So you can print it off and show it to a parent and say, hey, they started right here, and this is where they are now as far as their assessment averages. So it has a ton of resources in the reports for you to use. EdgeElastic does have a free version for teachers, which I think gives you great things to use. But it does have a paid version, which I think is even better because it gives you more assessments to look at, and it also gives you more detailed reports that you can use with your parents and your admin staff. I will say on all of these resources, there are free versions and there are paid versions. Again, most of the paid versions, you're just getting more as far as the assessments and the reports and all that information. You're just getting more there. But the free versions would do just perfectly for you to use in class. One of the best things about all of these resources is they can be taken home. Students can use their usernames and ID, and they can go home and they can complete these assignments with their parents there. Also, you can use these assignments right now. You can go into iExcel, get a trial, and send it out to your students. You could also go into CommonLit and create a class and send that out to students. These are not difficult to log into. Quizii would be something awesome for students to do right now. They would absolutely love it. Check out these websites. I'm going to link them below in the description box. You're going to see their websites. You can go. A lot of them offer right off the bat free trials for teachers. Some of them are right now, even during this pandemic, is offering free access to them to the whole thing. And so this is a great time to get in there, see what you can see, use it for your classroom. If you have any questions about any of the sites that I went over today, please feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will try to answer as many comments as I possibly can on these. If you want to know more information about any one of these sites, you can go to the sites, and you can definitely, it has a corner for you to chat with someone, and they can give you more information. Questions, let me know. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll know that you want me to make a few more of these videos. Please make sure if you have not already subscribed to my family, you go ahead and subscribe, because I'll have more videos like this coming, and I have plenty of other videos of cleaning and faith and clothes and everything in between, just to help you out during this time. Again, thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you later. Bye.